So it's no secret that I'm a Zoro fanboy. I suck from this man's on the daily, and if you look at my TikTok, it's literally just a Zoro Tumblr page. I have been a Zoro meat writer since I was 7 years old when I first started watching One Piece, and I've never seen a dude as cool as Zoro in any anime. Man just exudes confidence and swagger, and when you look up badass in the dictionary, it's just a picture of Zoro. Man is just that guy. Throughout the series, Zoro's only gotten cooler and cooler, and I mean, I've been a fan of Zoro since day one, but that moment at Thriller Bark, the nothing happened moment, that was it. That was the moment that solidified Zoro as my absolute favorite character in all of fiction. And I couldn't believe my eyes when Toei blessed us with One Piece episode 1062. Now, I'm not just a casual viewer, oh no, I'm a manga reader. I devoured the Zoro vs. King fight a whole year ago, so you can imagine the level of anticipation I had for this episode. And let me tell you, after what we saw with Sanji, I was beyond hyped for Zoro's episode. But holy fucking shit, Toei went all out and gave my king the most mind-blowing episode I've ever witnessed in my entire life. Seriously, every single shot from this episode could be framed and hung up as a masterpiece. I mean, just look at this. Look at this one. Look at this. And oh my god, look at this one. These are all like poster level still frames. And then, as if the hype couldn't get any crazier, I stumbled upon a video by a fellow YouTuber called 𝙲𝚘𝚙𝚢𝚛𝚒 who dissected Zoro's character in the most eye-opening way possible. And if you guys haven't watched that video, I will link in the description below. But this man does an amazing job at bringing a very key character change for Zoro in his battle with King to the forefront. So when we first met Zoro, his only goal was to become the world's greatest swordsman, and that was a dream he put above everyone else. But when he met the crew and started facing stronger and stronger opponents, his focus shifted from simply wanting to become someone stronger for his own sake to feeling a deep sense of responsibility to protect his crew. We had Enies Lobby, we had Thriller Bark, we had Sabaody, you name it. In all of these arcs, Zoro's primary goal was safeguarding his beloved comrades. He put aside his ego to make a sacrifice for the sake of his friends when he asked Mihawk to train him. And what's interesting, in that exchange, Mihawk was saying that you are shameful for doing this, why are you bowing your head to an enemy? So even Mihawk recognized that Zoro was putting himself second and the crew as his first priority to protect and serve. And interestingly enough, it was during Thriller Bark where I fell in love with Zoro that he wasn't acting like his true self. Don't get me wrong, his sacrifice showcased his loyalty and his protective nature, which was fantastic and truly heartwarming. But however, in the process, he unintentionally placed himself second, unaware of how it could hinder him in the future. And even when I first read Zoro vs. King, I didn't fully grasp this change in Zoro. And then it hit me rereading it and rewatching 𝙲𝚘𝚙𝚢𝚛𝚒's video, but to control Enma, Zoro needed to give it his all. He needed to give Enma all of his haki. And when I first read that, I was like, yeah, just turn up the juice, release all your restraints, and just give in to Enma and use 100% of your power, because I thought Zoro was just holding back. But he wasn't holding back just in terms of haki usage, it was in terms of his goals and ambitions. For so long, he put becoming the world's greatest swordsman second to Luffy's dream in protecting the crew. Enma served to test Zoro's will and ambition. Enma desired a wielder with kingly ambitions and someone who was destined for greatness. That's why Oden was the only swordsman who was able to wield Enma, because Oden cared about his own goals above the goals of Wano and above what his father wanted for him. Oden had his own set of goals and dreams he wanted to accomplish, and nothing was going to stand in his way. That's why Enma bent to his will. And this realization of Enma testing if Zoro was a king completely flew over my head until I watched 𝙲𝚘𝚙𝚢𝚛𝚒's video. So a huge shout out to 𝙲𝚘𝚙𝚢𝚗 for enlightening me on Zoro's character development and him getting back to the old self that we saw 2 years ago when he fought Mihawk. This realization added another captivating layer to Zoro's character. He's now finding a delicate balance between his ambition of becoming the greatest swordsman in the world and his unwavering support for Luffy's journey to become Pirate King. Here's the thing, in the endgame of the series, Luffy will need the strongest crew, and with Zoro becoming the greatest swordsman, he'll be there to help Luffy take down any foe standing in their way. And let's not forget that for a significant portion of the series, Zoro's had his sights set on the wrong goal. He shifted his focus from becoming the world's strongest swordsman to protecting his crew. But here's the thing, if he stayed true to his original ambition by becoming the world's strongest, he would have been able to protect his friends even better. I mean, picture this. Zoro standing at the pinnacle of swordsmanship, unrivaled in his skill and strength. Who in their right mind would threaten his crew? No one, because Zoro would be an unstoppable force cutting down any foe foolish enough to challenge him. It's like having the best of both worlds, a badass swordsman who can protect his friends with absolute authority. But hey, hindsight is 20/20, right? Zoro's journey has been a roller coaster of self-discovery and growth, and it took some detours along the way, but now he's finding his way back to his original ambition while simultaneously embracing his role as Luffy's right-hand man. It's a delicate balancing act, but Zoro's up for the challenge. So as we venture into the endgame of One Piece, I have no doubt that Zoro, with his newfound resolve and unwavering determination, will continue to climb the ranks, honing his skills and surpassing all obstacles in his path. And now the anime recognized this and threw the whole kitchen sink into this episode. Some of the most jaw-dropping, heart-stopping, ball-busting animation I've ever seen in my life, and the King of Hell deserves nothing less than this. Episode 1062 was one of the greatest, if not greatest, One Piece episodes of all time. Just 20 minutes of stomping action with flashbacks that didn't overstay their welcome. I mean, the choreography was insane, and if you looked at the beginning of One Piece with Zoro's swordplay choreography, it was so bad, like him fighting Mihawk for the first time. It literally looked like a drunk uncle who bought a sword from Amazon and just started swinging with it. But in this episode, they gave it so much love, and I just want to be able to appreciate all the little nuances from this animation. And can we just look at the final attack, the camera angles, the way the camera followed the dragons as it moved through the scene, how Zoro looked like he was in Super Mario Brothers jumping from rock to rock, and when King uses his final move, he flashes from kid to teenager to king with the mask in 1 second. So much detail was put into this fight, and it was as if it was a celebration of Zoro in the best possible way, with an amazing fight, and just all the hand-drawn animation with Zoro looking like an absolute demon, and I loved how abstract it was. Just this episode was a celebration of Zoro and his character growth and him coming back to the Zoro we knew when he was ballsy enough to challenge Mihawk. And if you haven't watched One Piece episode 1062, or if you've given up on the anime, please, I urge you to go back and watch this episode. And I'm going to be real, I never really liked Toei was adding so much aura and extra stuff to Wano. I really wasn't the biggest fan of it, but what they did in this episode has all my stamps of approval. I couldn't have asked for anything more. The manga version of this fight was very lackluster. It was like, I think maybe like 12-13 pages of just actual fighting, and it was good, but the anime elevated it in such an amazing way. Like, the manga was very bare bones with what happened, but I really liked what they did with this episode. The only real complaint I had was when King and Zoro had their clash, and in the manga it looked like Zoro pushed him away with Conqueror's Haki, but in the anime it just looked like straight Haki was enough to push King back. That's the only thing I wish they changed, but other than that, an amazing episode. Please go watch this episode, and if you're not bricked up watching this episode, you don't understand the manliness that is my boy, Roronoa Zoro. Alright, thank you so much for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe, and if you don't, I will stomp on your balls. Have a good day.